Well, if you're not aware of it yet, there is eventually going to be an Alcatraz add-on. And that Alcatraz add-on is going to be like kind of like new co-op maps, but not like new co-op maps. It is going to have supposedly bigger and badder enemies in it. We'll take a lot of the old enemies, I'm assuming, revamp them and give them new powers. What sounds like a whole lot of new explosive powers. So, and we're talking about difficulty is in, right now we're at threat level 10 is where our max is. And supposedly, you know, the way it's talked about is if you're an ego 5000, you might be at a threat level 19, which kind of makes you wonder what the enemies would be like. Now, if they're shielded enemies, that can be a nightmare because any enemy with a shield at 10 can give you some trouble as it is. But there's some, I guess, maybe positives, and I don't know. I'm not really sure whether to say I find a lot of negatives or not. I hate to say it like that, but to do these, you're going to have to get some sort of a mark. I don't know what I guess you'd say you're getting some sort of a new currency, and that it's going to be a requisition, a hunter requisition. And supposedly the way it is right now, that doesn't mean it won't change. You're looking at, my understanding is you'll get one per week, which one hunter requisition would allow you to go play one time. Now you would be able to do this with teammates, and I'm assuming it would be up to 4 people like a co-op. I mean, that would make sense, but that doesn't mean that's how it's going to happen. Now, supposedly if you have the patron pass, they're saying you'll get 1 per day, which still isn't a lot. You'll be able to buy these out of the store if you want, which I guess is another way to make some money off of that as well, so that you can get more. But I mean, it's kind of a jumbled mess the way it's going to work. It's going to be a lot more complicated than what we're used to. We're used to going in and you just pull the trigger, you kill everything, and you get out. And this is going to be a lot trickier. Like if you go down, you use your self-revive. My understanding is that's okay, but if you go down again without a self-revive, you would have to use a hunter requisition to get back up, unless you have a teammate, and a teammate can revive you, but to revive you it costs them their self-revive. So if they don't have a self-revive, I'm assuming they can't pick you up. So that's, you can see how this is kind of going. They've made it extremely tough, and I mean, with the hunter requisitions, we can also say expensive if you're having to purchase them, because if you go in the first day and you go down in the first round, because supposedly there's multiple rounds, and the higher the threat level, the better the reward. And I don't know exactly how many rounds it goes through. The best I've made out of it is, I guess, maybe 3 rounds, but it sounds kind of like a pay gate to it, to an extent, with you only being able, if you're not, you know, paying for anything, only being able to do it once a week. It's kind of sort of got a pay gate on it. So I mean, I'm not really sure what to think about that a whole lot. I've never been against the patron pass as far as buying one of those. I've always said, you know, they're kind of a good deal. If you play a lot and you're not playing just to play, you want to get stuff, then a patron pass is not a bad thing to have at all. But I don't know. I've not, you know, all I've done is read stuff about it at this point. I've not watched anything, and it gets a lot more in depth than that, and it's just something that a lot of us will be learning, because you'll get new ways of upgrading your character as well. Once again, I don't know if that's only going to count for when you're in there, or if you'll actually get to use that when you're out. I'm assuming it's just basically a way to boost yourself while you're in there. Kind of a complicated way to boost yourself when you're in there, but I don't know. It's just one of those things we'll have to wait and see, or, you know, I'm sure there's more information than what I've read out there, but so far, I'm not going to pretend that I am 100% thrilled about everything I've read. While I love to hear about new things in Defiance, I don't love to hear about how it's kind of got a pay gate to it. And that's, you know, I wouldn't really have that big a problem with it if it was just getting into the thing. You know, you can only get into one a week. Okay, well, that's just the way it is. But then the whole the revive thing and having to use your hunter requisitions for that and everything, that's just going overboard to me. I'm like, well, I don't know. What I thought about that wasn't the greatest. I wasn't. But it also doesn't mean something like that can't change. If there's, if there's a bad enough response to anything, things can change. That definitely happens. And since it's not out, it can definitely happen. So now, what I've seen with them though is there will be one that has apparently some hell bugs in it. Ones with raiders and ones with mutants, which is kind of wipe the sweat off that it wasn't dark matter, because dark matter, threat level 10 dark matter is not a joke. If you've ever been at a monolith and there's been 10 people there or less, and it's a threat level 10, you see what a group of them can do. They are not to be trifled with at threat level 10, especially because their shields are just stupid strong at threat level 10. But anyways, those are going to be the ones we're going to have, and a lot of them are going to have new powers, like I said, and everything. So that's going to kind of give them a leg up on you. So really and truly, any kind of anti-explosive class you have would probably help. And they've mentioned that if you have some form of protection, so using perks that might keep you from catching fire, or a shield that is fire resistant, those type of things will probably help you out. And reports from what I've read from people who are on the test server trying this out say that I've seen people say they go down pretty easy, that these enemies are very, very strong. And I'm sure, I'm sure they are, and I'm sure hopeful that the rewards are going to be worth our effort on this. And if you're not sure what I mean, I don't consider a blue or a purple to be that great. If I spend, I don't know how long these things are going to take, but if say it takes you an hour, 2 hours to do one of these, and I get a purple, I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be happy with that. And anybody who's probably around me is going to hear me complain. You spend that much time on something, you expect to get a real reward, and blues and purples aren't anybody who's been around for a long time, those aren't real rewards. those are just script in your inventory, just waiting to get rid of them. With the price, with how hard it is to earn Arc Forge, I don't really deal that much with purples, trying to level them up or anything anymore. And with the price of it in the store, it's just I just don't even mess with that. I think the price in the store is just, it's technically about 20 bucks is the way I see it for like 500 Arc Forge, and that's just wow. Because when you look at the bits you can buy for $20, and then you look at the price of the Arc Forge, and you're like, okay, that's pretty much the same. So that's just crazy. But that's old news, and I just wanted to kind of brush over a little bit of these. If you hadn't heard about this Alcatraz and these expeditions that are coming in the Alcatraz update, that there is going to be something new coming. I haven't heard anything about a release date. Probably no one's heard anything, because they're still testing it. They're still running through the bugs and everything, still trying to make sure it's it's going to work and everything. And I don't know. We'll see what we can see whenever it gets closer, and some of the bugs are fixed out of it and everything. And let's hope maybe some of this Paygate stuff has kind of dropped down, because that's it's a little bit steep right now. I don't know what they're going to charge for these hunter requisitions, but going by the store and what you always see from the Defiance store, they won't be cheap, because they've never seen, there's nothing in there that's super cheap ever. I've always thought everything was kind of overpriced, and they would sell so much more of the stuff if they would lower the prices on a few things. And the clothing, is kind of, it's always been a complaint. The clothing, the vehicles, they're highly overpriced for what they are. They're pixels in the end, and I've bought clothing on sale where I thought it wasn't such a horrible price, but yeah, most of it, a lot of the stuff you look at and you think, ooh, that'd be nice, and you look at that and you think about the bits in your head and how much you paid for the bits, and you're like, yeah, this is not that good a deal. I'm not buying this. I'll just wear whatever I have. But I keep getting off track talking about old things with the game. These are all old news, old complaints that a lot of people already knew about. And I just wanted to talk about the Alcatraz. But hopefully we'll get some info on it. More info on it soon. This is, they released something on it a couple days ago. More of an official thing on it. I mean, it's been known about for quite a while. But since they released something, maybe that means we're a little bit closer to something new. Which would be nice because we're, at this point, getting close to the end of the colony courtship, the Valentine event. And it'll be nice to, you know, not have that long a break before we get something else that's new that keeps the game fresh. But that will be up to them, and we will see when that happens. But normally when they put up something talking about it, we don't normally have that long before it comes out. So that may or may not mean that they're happy with the bugs they've managed to fix out. Maybe there's not that many compared to that, or that will be easy to fix, or they could just release it with bugs. That's been known to happen in games. But I'm going to stop it right there. I just wanted to briefly touch on it in case you hadn't heard of it and kind of tell you that there is yet something new coming, but it kind of comes with a pay gate unless they change the current way of things going. And I from the way I've seen it, we aren't normally listened to that heavily in Defiance, and we probably will continue to see whatever they're seeing on the test server. We will probably see those prices, and we will probably not be listened to, because this is one of those games where we're really only kind of listened to when it comes to some things, especially when it comes to making money. So I'm going to stop it here, and I will catch you guys later.